Sure. Born and raised in Calgary. I didn't start dancing till I was in high school. Did kind of the dance option at the end of junior high and found Tara's class when I was 16, and then danced kind of exclusively, trained in hip hop. And then when Tara was pregnant with the dudes, I took over her classes. So yeah, I've been teaching in Calgary now for over 20 years. And yeah, I mean, I've exclusively trained in hip hop and kind of dabbled in other things, but popping and locking were my first loves. And then, yeah, so I've been at Pulse now. This is my, I think, third year at Pulse. And yeah. I think what really made me love dance without even knowing what I loved about it was the Janet Jackson Rhythm Nation video. I remember watching it. I saw Janet Jackson, the Rhythm Nation tour was my first concert when I was like 5 or 6. And I remember seeing the video and just being so captivated by it. I didn't understand why, but I was just like, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And it wasn't till I had friends who danced growing up. Never got into it, but then I was like, this is coming together. So it was 100% Janet Jackson's video that, like, I knew something clicked. I didn't know what it was, but as I was older and like the movement and music started connecting, and then once I actually started taking class with Tara, it was like, this is the game changer. Like, this is where my heart is. I had a ton of friends that danced growing up, and I never thought I was a dancer. Like, my parents were both go-go dancers, so I'm sure it was deep within my DNA, but never really took classes. And then I did the dance option in grade 9. I was like, well, I might as well try it. Like, I'll stick with it, see if I like it. And that was my first exposure to actually taking a dance class. And I didn't love what we were doing, but I loved the movement, the music, and then that's when I started taking classes, and I just loved being able to learn and absorb and kind of apply everything and connect it, and then be able to go home and say, okay, can I try it to different music? How do I make it my own? So it, in the grand scheme of starting dance, 16 is old-ish, but, I look at dancers who start in their 50s and 60s. It's incredible. You can kind of start at any time. So for me, it was, kind of high school, and as your body's changing, it's such an interesting time in life when you're kind of exploring, and you want to listen to what's cool, but you also want to explore your own personality, your own individuality. But I feel really fortunate to have grown up in a time when music videos were so compelling and so life-changing. It's, I think our generation's really lucky to have experienced that, and just, the importance of seeing choreography come together, and, the vision of a choreographer and the artist and the dancers. I think that's nice. Always been an inspiration. Yes, so my roots, it's kind of, I always joke, so I would say I'm Jamaican. So my mom was born in Montreal. Her family, her mom was Polish, her dad was Russian. My dad was born in Jamaica. He had a lot of Jewish friends growing up, and he converted to Judaism kind of, I think, when he moved to Montreal. He moved from Jamaica to the Bahamas to Miami, just kept getting colder as he eventually landed in Montreal. And both my parents were dancers, but on my dad's side, quite a mix. So my great-grandfather was Chinese, my grandfather was from Honduras, so he was Latino and Black. So, and I've got Scottish. My last name is Irish, which is always good and confusing. So yeah, Jamaican is kind of the easiest way to wrap it all up. But, there was always music in my house. Like, it was interesting. Like, my friends grew up listening to the Beatles and the Beach Boys. I didn't hear them till I was in my 20s, even in high school. Like, I grew up listening to Motown and dance hall and soca. So it was like, there was nonstop music. R&B. It was never, I never really listened to rock. I never grew up listening to country. So I think, the energy of the music was always like a baseline in our house. I remember Saturday mornings, if my mom was cleaning, there was music on. Like there was not a quiet time in the house. Absolutely. I think I feel really fortunate to have had an upbringing that was very different from a lot of my peers. It really does make you look at the world differently. You feel in a way that you can fit in with certain groups, but also that you're not fully that. You're not fully accepted by one group or another. I always thought of myself as a bit of a chameleon growing up, but now I think it's sort of what set me apart growing up, that I was different, but never in a way that I was ashamed of. It was you have many voices to bring to the table instead of just one voice, one long lineage. I think it's really cool, and it does change the way, it changes the way you cook. It changes the music you listen to, right? It's what you listen to growing up, even in school. It's, and what you kind of expose your friends to. A lot of my friends had never had Jamaican food growing up. They had never listened to dance hall. They had never listened to soca. And I think it impacts, I look at kids now, and when I taught kids throughout my teaching career, there's a need and I always had a real desire to make everyone feel as seen as possible, because if you feel different, you're going to move in the world a little bit differently. If you feel like you don't fit in, I think that really impacts how you move, right? I've always been really keen on empowering my students of any age. There's always a place in class, and I think it's what you might connect to in the music may be so different than someone else, but it's something I've always tried to. I always say we have varying levels of beginner. We have people that have been dancing for a really long time and are coming back to it, and people that have never set foot in a dance studio. And I say to my class every week, you are in the right place. No matter where you're coming from, what point in your dance journey you're in. So for me, the vibe of the class is as much a learning environment as possible. There are no mistakes to be made. I want people to really connect to the feeling and walk away confident. I think as adults, it gets really terrifying to try something new and to take a new class. So I just want my class to feel as inclusive as possible, and really, just welcome everyone, no matter what stage you're in. And I play a lot of throwback music from my youth, and I think there's connection in that. If you connect to the music, it's so much, as teachers, it's easier to teach when you feel inspired by the music. So lots of old jams, the stuff that really brings up some nostalgia, the songs that you had no business singing and knowing all the words to as an 8-year-old, but as an adult, you're like, yes, this is my jam now. you're singing it with your whole heart. I think at my class on Sundays, it's just, I always say, it's your soul food. It's how you want to wrap up the weekend, start the week. Just feels a bit like a house party. The fact that you feel like you can exhale in my class, I don't want anyone feeling, walking away like I'm a terrible person because I couldn't get this one move. I want people to feel empowered. And I think, that's feedback I've gotten, and I really take it to heart, because I think it's hard to try new things and take a dance class. So I hope that people feel empowered. I love party dances. I just love the energy of them. I think it's, the time I grew up in. But popping and locking are so near and dear to my heart. I've loved them forever. I think popping especially, it's kind of thankless as you're training in it. You're like, I'm not getting it. But when you get it, you're like, oh, it is the sweetest feeling. But locking, the music, there's such an energy about locking. I love breaking. I think it's with any street style, you watch people that are brilliant at it and they make it look so effortless. I think that's with any style, but street dance especially. And you're like, I could do that. And then you try and you're like, I need to work on that. But it's, that's what I love about Pulse, that any level you know, you can make an entry into street dance and try all the different styles and know that you're getting like an education in it, and it's not just like these are the moves. There's history and there's so much culture behind it, and I think that's why I love teaching at Pulse. But I would say party dances, popping and locking are my top.